Welcome on in, my Ashwings, to another installment of the Silver Age A to Z series. Today we're taking a look at our next hero in the C category, which is Cindra. Cindra, believe it or not, plays a lot like her counterpart in Classic Constructed, but it is just a little bit more quicker of a game because your opponent being in 20 life, it is really easy to just kind of run them down and send a whole bunch of damage at them. And the only downside is that you don't have the opportunity to flick at your opponent anymore, which does kind of feel bad. But luckily, that concept is not because we're not trying to keep a mask trigger up or anything in this format. Effectively, the flick knife is just a way for you to get an extra point of damage and then buy it back. But in this format, we're not even going to be running the danger digits, which is a once per turn flick knife, once per game flick knife. The reason being is because I think that the combination of pouncing paws and tearing shuko is just too powerful for you to not run. It's also got battle worn 1 on each of these, so it allows you to block better. And that's why personally I think I'm going to be running the pouncing paws into this. As well as the Blade Beckoner Helm, I have the Blossom of Spring for an extra resource, and then the 2 Kunai of Retribution. Now, Cindra's ability does say you can pay 3 to equip up to 2 Draconic daggers from your graveyard, and it costs a resource less for each Draconic chain link you have. Usually you're going to try to be just sending 1 dagger and then your combo. 1 dagger kind of starts off your combo pretty well. It does cost you a resource to play that dagger. So if you are caught on a turn that you think you can really blow up your opponent, using that Blossom of Spring to activate one of these kunai and then coming in with the rest of your hand is pretty good. Of course, you also have Pouncing Paws Tearing Shuko, which makes you a Crouching Tiger that comes in for 2, which can pair into some of the other cards that we have here in the deck. So this is the main deck here. We are running Art of Dragonfire for a way to close out the game because we do make fealty tokens, so we can close out games with Art of Dragonfire. Bittering Thorns, very simply, is a super good card to have in this format because you're threatening an on-hit, and your opponent's going to want to make sure to stop that. We're not playing a whole ton of blues in this one here, although we probably could play a couple more blue block 3s, but we make Bittering Thorns work no matter what anyway. Blaze Headlong, super great 0 for 4. You have a bunch of reds in the deck, so you're never going to not have go again here. Brandwood Cindercarver running the reds and the yellows. These can also make this card Draconic, so you can go about attacking with that. We have Burning Blade Dance, 0 for 3, go again in most cases. And when it hits, you are going to go ahead and destroy one of your daggers, which you can then buy back. We have Demonstrate Devotion, 1 for 4. You make a fealty token, Display Loyalty. This is the 0 cost version of that card. Fire Tenant Strike First, super great card. I thought about possibly running the yellows of this one as well, but I think the reds are just fine. For the Drakai, it's a great chain ender and also just a way to get more fealty if you need to. If your opponent is marked, you can always go ahead and just send this out, but it's a great chain ender. It's a 0 for 4. It also blocks 3, so good to have block 3s in the deck. Hot on the Heels, 0 for 3, go again, blocks 3. If it hits, mark. If it's chain link 2 or higher. We are playing Lava Burst as a chain ender as well. You can park this in Arsenal and just send a whole bunch of damage and threaten more with Lava Burst. We have Lava Vein Loyalty. Again, it's effectively just a 0 for 3 with go again. Pouncing Key. This one here is pretty specific. It blocks for 3, but at least one of those you're going to want to use with Pouncing Paws and Tearing Shuko. So if you do end up getting this, that's usually when I would consider my power turn to be to pop those and then pop Pouncing Key to get another chain link. This will come in for 4 go again, but at the end of the day, it blocks for 3 as well, so not terrible. Rising Resentment, 0 for 3 go again, could get one of those 1 cost cards to cost less, which is really good. More specifically, so any of these less than the number of Draconic chain links you control, so pretty good. And then Ronin Renegade, Head Jab, Scar for Scar. You're probably at lower life than your opponent because you're not going to block, so that's good there. Silver Talons, this is a way for you to flick those daggers. If this is Draconic, you can flick a dagger at your opponent. So we'll keep that in mind. If this is, again, another chain ender, so if you find a way to make this Draconic, you can flick a dagger, and then you can go ahead and buy back those daggers, which is pretty good. Snatch, another awesome chain ender. This is just going to send in for 4. and it threatens another card draw. It's a very terrifying card, and most people tend to just block it out. Wrath of Retribution, this is your power card in your deck. If you don't know anything about Wrath, this card's insane. Effectively, you just play 3 Draconic cards, and then you play Wrath of Retribution for free. You then attack with you probably have 1 dagger. You attack with that dagger for 2 with Go Again. You buy back your daggers with Cindra. You attack with your second dagger, and then you can follow it up with like a Chain Ender if you have something there too. So Wrath is just kind of insane. It really brings those chain links to like 6 or even 7 sometimes. So very powerful. I like this card a lot. You can only run 1 of it though, so keep that in mind. And then of course the Throw Yourself at Them. This is another way to flick a card at your opponent. You're probably pitching this card, so it's probably staying around to the late game. If you get your opponent down to 1 and your opponent just like can't prevent a flick knife effect, you can always just go ahead and just send this at them, and it will flick a dagger and they will die. So a lot of those flick knife effects are going to be on the cards that we actually play in the deck, as opposed to a equipment piece to try and snipe a card or snipe a hit off our opponent. And then in our inventory, we have the Arcane Polarity. This is just because it's a red card, so theoretically you can turn on anything. But it's also going to be for wizards, so you can gain life, wizards and rune blades. We have Battlefront Bastion for a popper. We have Razor Reflex in case we're trying to go maybe a little bit wider. And I thought about maybe mainboarding this, maybe even taking out like a Silver Talons and instead bringing in a Razor Reflex. But it does cost you 1 resource to do, so yeah, it's a little risky, but it's not terrible because it does work on your daggers as well. So you could send a Kunai for 1 and your opponent can block 3 and you can Razor Reflex it. I don't think they'd be expecting that, but not a bad thing to test. And then, of course, Wax On. This is just the best D-React for ninjas right now at this moment. It blocks out a card that costs 0 for 5. It's also a 0 for 3 D-React at the end of the day, so if you needed to block out something, it's fine. But it's better for cards that are like Assassins, right? Assassins will send 0 cost attacks like that. You also have Rangers that tend to do that as well. So having this just being able to D-React for 5 is pretty good in the format. And then, of course, Spell Fray, because we're not going to want to pitch to AB. That doesn't allow us to keep the game going there. So let's go ahead and send Cindra into the Talishar queue for Silver Age and see how she performs as her younger self. Before we move into gameplay, I wanted to give a shout out to my channel members for the support they provide. Each channel member is provided with their own role in our Discord server, as well as access to the Common Language Podcast livestream every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. With 3 tiers of membership, copper, silver, and gold, you can choose to support my channel in any way you wish at a reasonable price point. Supporting this channel by being a channel member helps keep the lights on, keeps your favorite content creator fed, and of course, allows for me to offer more to you all as a thank you for your continued support. There is a link in the description of this video to become a channel member, and if you choose to support the channel this way, just know that it does truly mean the world to me that you are willing to do that. Don't feel pressured though. Even just subscribing and interacting with my content helps. So thank you again to our channel members for your support, and back to the video. All right, our opponent here is an Oldhim. Right off the bat, I can tell this is going to be a awful matchup for us, but we are going to try our darndest anyway and see if that works. We might actually bring the Razor Reflex into this and take out maybe a Pouncing Key, because that's going to be pretty important to try and like shore up our game plan into them. So we'll see. They're going first, we're going second, so we're kind of in an okay spot there. They have the full suite of Civic stuff, so that's kind of insane for us. Yeah, very interesting. So I think in this hand, we maybe even give... I mean, we probably just give the Silver Talons here, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. We got our blue. So we get to at least do something here. This doesn't really do as much for us here, so I think I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to do this, pitching, And I'm going to send 4. I'm going to Razor Reflex it. I'm going to send a dagger, and I'm going to pass. So we're not trying to cheat the game with a Razor Reflex. And we're trying to really bait out some more stuff here. So we get a Might token. Interesting. I will Razor Reflex here. Because the more D-reacts we can get out of this, the better. Okay, so you're pitching an Earth and an Ice card. Okay. Still coming in for 1. Keeping me off an Arsenal is pretty good. Again, this is kind of the thing that's gonna. Oh, we get set up with a Quicken too. What? This is gonna be so good for us. Okay, sure. We get a Quicken. That's gonna be huge. Harvest season. Oh, this is gonna be rough. This will be a rough game. I'm certain of it. All right. We can pop that to send everything in this hand. Maybe we can try putting the Bittering Thorns at the bottom. I'm not too worried about it. Let's just send this for 4. The fact they're already using their armor this early is very interesting to me. I'd be curious what they're actually getting as far as their value for this. But okay, a Turn Timber. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, I'm going to have this come in for 5. And we can even Rising Resentment possibly play this for free if they let it hit, but they won't because they're definitely going to just Ice React. Staunch Response. This is going to be a rough game, y'all. This is going to be a rough fucking game for sure. I don't know that there's a way that this actually happens here. Oldham reacts. They're going to pitch an Ice card, put that to the bottom, and I'm going to deal 3 damage to them. I don't think I have enough to Cindra here. Yeah, because it was 2 Draconics in the Fire Tenant, so yeah. I mean, we're whittling them down, but unfortunately, this is a game where we don't have the ability to go as wide as we'd like to, which does kind of suck. But I think we might just. I mean, we probably shouldn't pop anything here, right? We should probably just send the Bittering Thorns, pitching this. And I could set myself, like, I could just, like, stop right here, right? But, okay, so we're going to get a Might and a thing. Maybe we just send a Snatch. No, that's fine. We'll make the music hard still. They're giving us a card here? That's huge for us. This card's bad. You shouldn't be playing this into Cindra. I don't think this card does anything into Cindra. I think this card, if anything, helps me. But it is interesting we're getting all of this armor so early. Like, they're not even presenting anything insane. They're just healing and blocking. This is super block slop Oldham. But come on now. Come on now. Trying to do the math on whether or not this is going to be effective or not. I mean, you gave up your civics already. So these are done. You don't have any more armor here. You've got 1, 2, 3 points of armor total. What's happening here? Hello? Are you there? Hello? Tell me you're here. As much as I don't want to play this game out, I definitely don't want. I don't want to play this. Okay, well, you know what? We ain't got the time to sit around and wait for an Oldhim to be even more fatigued than we expect. So we are going to leave the game and we'll do another one. All right, Chain is the hero in this one here. Now, I might not want to have them go first on this, but I think, yeah, it doesn't make any sense for them to go first. I'd much rather just try to present a bunch on my turn. We are going to run the Arcane Polarities. I am going to get rid of probably the Silver Talons. Let's get rid of something that costs 1, maybe. What costs 1 in here that I don't want a lot of? Let's actually get rid of... Oh, gosh. What do I even have that costs 1 in here? That's really crazy. This. And then maybe like... this blue. I'll get rid of a Silver Talon. That's fine. That's fine. That'll be okay. Look at that. See, we even got rid of them. It's still in our hand. So we can pitch, play, pitch. This hand sucks. I'm going to give a Kadachi. What the hell? A Kunai. I'm going to Kunai, hot on their heels. Probably just like put this in the bottom. Okay, see, it's a good thing we didn't let them go first. We could just pitch to both of these and get a Lava Burst turn off, but I think that's stupid. I'm gonna pitch into this, and I'm gonna have them block a couple more cards here. Okay, they have to pay into the reduced to Rune Chant, which is pretty good. All right, we'll just Arsenal this card, because if we can send a ton of damage at them, which we can, it's pretty good. Oh, gosh, this turn can be... Well, unfortunately, this doesn't line up really with these, but... I mean, it does, because we can Rising Resentment, Display Loyalty, brand Silver Talons. Okay. Mauve Skies, Chain Ability. So we probably can just block with this card, actually, because I kind of want a Lava Burst more than I want to do anything else, so... Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. We did not bring any AB, because we don't have AB. For 4. On hit... Rune Chance is really bad, so I think we probably just do this like this. I don't mind blocking with a card from hand. The yellow Deathly Delights are very interesting. I mean, I guess they gain you life, right? And they're not on Reaping Blades, so they can gain life just like at any point. So they will gain a life here when the combat chain closes. They'll probably Arsenal that card, or they'll attack with Galaxy Black. You played a card from your Banish Stone this turn, yeah. Huh. I don't care about that. You can deal 3 to me. I probably would have arsenaled that card if I were them, but maybe that's just me. All right, so let's go ahead. We've got our turn now. They're at 21 life. But their hand is going to block quite poorly. So we are going to go ahead and do the Cindra thing, where we are just going to brand for 3. We could probably keep a Rising Resentment in, well, not if we want to get Lava Burst off this turn. So our opponent's probably not going to block a whole lot here. They need to keep like most of their hand in order for them to do a lot. So they're probably going to block less, which is good for us because, you know, we want to get the damage off. Rising Resentment. So you feel like maybe I probably could have threatened the Rising Resentment on the second chain link, technically for purposes like that, because the second chain link we'd still have a card in hand, so it's like threatening a -1 on something. Okay, Rising hits. I will send a Lava Burst then for 5. Bring them down to 10. I still have 2 armor up. They're going to block. So now they have 2 cards in hand. Probably not enough resources to send the Runegate stuff at me. Ooh, we get the Mauve Skies. That's huge for us. I will buy back my dagger. And maybe we just get to clear it out with a... Let's just... Fingers crossed for a Wrath turn, right? Nope. It's not bad, though. We do get to... We could probably flick to hit 2, and then play Ronin, and then Blaze, and then Snatch, and then buyback. Okay, just 3. I'll take 3. Oh, they're going to take a Blood Debt, too. That's awesome. That's awesome for us. They're going to take a Blood Debt. All right. There's the chain ability. 1 to Blood Debt. Okay. Now, do we get risky here? Because theoretically, we can do... We can pitch Dagger, Dagger, close the combat chain, and then Ronin, Blaze, Snatch. Ronin, Blaze, Fealty, Snatch, buy them back. I think we do. We just got to bring them down a little bit here. So we don't get to keep an arsenal, because that's really what we should do, is probably keep an arsenal and keep this an arsenal, because that way they just like die, right? Let's just send this. Probably better to be safe here. They're more than likely not going to have enough to send a ton here. So, and they don't want to, again, they don't want to block a lot here. So send that, send this. Yeah, because if we can keep them off of something, right, and just like, if this is our like win the game card, let it sit in Arsenal for a little bit, it's fine. Okay, we got another card from them. And then, especially in this scenario, they're probably going to have to give us 2 cards. But if the Snatch hits, see, that would have still given us an arsenal. We would have still had an arsenal if that was the case. So, come on now. No, let's just send it. Still 4. We can just put a better card in Arsenal, really, if we really needed to. I'd rather this be an Arsenal because it's a blue. I want red in my hand, so they're giving me their whole hand. Very interesting. Okay, sure. So they're going to take 1 at the end of their turn. Arsenal that card. It's a pretty good hand. Now they have 2 in Blood Debt, so we're probably just going to take a win here if I were to guess. So let's see here. What can we do with this? I mean, we could send 3, 5, 7, 11, 15 damage at our opponent. I guess 17 damage at our opponent. Yeah. Yep. That's just about right. It's kind of rough, especially with these Runegate versions. This does not have enough Runegate generate or Runechant generation. The downfall is that Runechant generation is so important in this matchup. Like, they're not running rune, whatever you call them, rune blood incantations. So there's a couple of things that probably could have changed from the chain's perspective. But I mean, our deck did exactly what we wanted it to do. 14 damage, 11 damage. And I mean, this turn would have been, I think we just close this out here, right? Because they're going to have to give us their whole hand or die. maybe not their whole hand, right? They could probably block out, because we're dealing 17 if we pop this here, because we go Ronin Renegade for 3, they block 3, right? And then we're dealing 14 now, and then we send Brandwood Cinderclaw, they don't block. We need 12 damage. We've got 12 damage left, and then we just go about pop boots, this flick a knife, this buy back the dagger, so on and so forth, right? So pretty good, as you can tell, right? Like 17 points of damage is nothing to snuff at, and especially I think like in this situation, Chain's hands just kind of got a little rough for them and cost them the game in that scenario. But it's okay. That's Shadow Runeblade life. It's Runeblade life in general, honestly. So, but this has been Cindra. Hopefully this kind of gave you an idea about how she plays. It's a very straightforward deck. I'm not saying it's brain dead, because you do still have to sequence, but it is really, really just like play the cards that say go again on them. Play the Draconic cards that say go again on them. Overpower your opponent's defenses. Kill them, right? We unfortunately, that Oldhim did not want to play the game, apparently, and so that Oldhim had to leave, and now we got paired into a chain, and we ended up beating them as well, just based on our skill set here. So if you did enjoy today's episode of the A to Z series for the Silver Age format, please make sure to go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. And of course, as mentioned in our little blurb previously, you can become a channel member, and that will certainly help out the channel a lot. You get access to the Common Language podcast live every Tuesday morning. So if that's something that interests you and something you want to be a part of, then obviously you can join us there. But no pressure, right? Just keep being awesome, and leave a comment down below letting me know how you think Cindra's doing in the Silver Age format. And as always, I hope you continue to have fun in the flesh and blood, and I will see all of you beautiful Ashwings in our next video.